Hey guys, we're back. So we've been keeping busy. What we've been doing is shipping a bunch of stuff up here to orbit, um, and we've been making some fluid. And we went down and we killed some biters. So let's kind of take a look, see what we got going. Excuse me. All right, Moss Garden. Pretty much, we haven't done much with it. It's pretty static. Um, we have not, I don't think. No, we haven't. We haven't added a. Oh yeah, we did add a power plant early on to this, so we do have a nuke plant here, and beyond that, everything is going peachy keen here. I mean, it's static because we're not doing anything actually, because we're as far as we can go with this. We really can't go any further. I mean, we're going to get some vulcanite out of this planet, but basically, it's just this vitamelange is the one thing we're really kind of producing there. So Moss Garden's kind of on hold for right now. Vionette, we are making cryonite rods, and we are making tons of cryonite rods. We're sending them to two places. We're sending them to Alaz to process stuff, or not Alaz. Which one are we sending them to? We are sending them to Sanctimonium to process our beryllium. We're also sending them up to orbit, and I'll show you why in a couple of few. So that is Vionette. Alaz. Oh, and on Vionette, we did get a nuke plant established here. Just want to see where it was. It is down here. It is running nice and pretty. In fact, right now it is somewhat backed up on 238, but we got 235 coming in. We got all of that. So yeah, we're good to go here. It is looking good. We got fuel for days, guys. Fuel for days. So we are just fine there. All right. So that's Vionette. Alaz. Alaz, same thing. We where did we put that sucker? Oh yeah, we put it way up there. All right. We have power plant up here on Alaz. Again, it is fuel for days. Now, this one we have a bunch of solar panels on the planet already. We were running the whole base off of solar panels, so we're really not using this plant right now. I'm undecided at this point whether I'm going to yank all these solar panels out and make use of them in other places, or whether I'll keep them, because we're going to start upping our production here. Now that we've got this established, we're going to start increasing our production. But we are making two things here on Alaz. We are making vulcanite blocks, and we are making homolite plates. Homium plates, not homolite. Homolite's a chainsaw. But yeah, we're making homium plates. So we got that going. They are going into a rocket, which can go wherever. Right now we don't need any, so we're not filling it. We're not shipping any. Sanctonium, same deal. Down here on the Sanctonium, we have ourselves way down here. We have nuke power. You guys may remember this one. This was forever painful to make because it's all the way down here, but you know, it'll work. We got it going. Again, fuel for days. Fuel for days. So we got that going nice. We are making aeroframe poles, and we are making beryllium plates. Now right now there's not a whole lot of beryllium plates in here because we finished up making all of these, and these are 200 to 50 or something like that. Right now we're trying to ship a bunch of these plates, and we're trying to fill our rocket. Where is our rocket? Our rocket's right there. we're working on filling our rocket. It's going to take a long time. We're going to have to up our production here at some point, but we are making them. That's the bottom line. And we are shipping in our cryonite rods. What else is in there? Oh, rocket parts. We got to take care of that eventually. All right, so that is Sanctonium. And Novice, of course. Novice is Novice. Novice is giving us all our stuff. Right now we are producing petroleum gas in order to ship it up to orbit. We're producing water to ship up to orbit, and we are producing lubricant to ship up to orbit. And they're coming up here, going on our rocket, and eventually that will ship up when that's full. We need a bunch of petroleum gas. So that's everything going on planet side. The other thing we did planet side is we have fixed the whole biter expansion thing, I think. It looks like it is not expanding anymore. I had to go back and turn it off a second time, and it looks like it's working now. So we're getting there, slowly but surely. One of the things I am doing down here is, because when I'm away I can't go and run the train because I can't shoot that far out, but what we can do is we can start saving artillery rounds so that when we do go back there we have more than a couple of trains worth of artillery rounds that we can go around and we can use. Alright, so there's that. That's all of that crap. Enough of that. Let us go back up here and look at what we're doing up here. So let's talk about what we got up here. We have our tank farms, and I have shipped up and filled pretty much all of these. Now this one was filled, but we're using it, so we're going to have to refill it. Some of these have reserves on hand, as you can see. Some of them do not. Petroleum gas, we are out of petroleum gas again. The other ones we're not. We are getting low on water, so we're going to have to, that's why we're also planning to ship up more water. Now, these next few, we're not shipping from the planet. They're made up here. You know, the space goo gel, the cosmic water, and our cooling fluids. Now, one of the things I am doing, because we're going to use it for different processes and stuff like that, I figured let's go ahead and make the cooling fluid, put it in the tank farm. Now, we shipped what little bit we had down planet up, so we have a factory to do that. But this minus 25 fluid or minus 10 fluid, you don't make down there. You have to make it in space. So there is no unbottling plant for it. But we've already got it in the system. We got it in the pipes. We went ahead and did it that way. So, because it's just a matter of cooling it down. Now, there are two ways to make this thermofluid. And one of them requires the iron pipe, the copper, the sulfur. The other one, which is why we're bringing the cryonite rod up here, it eliminates 3 ingredients. It eliminates our iron plate, our copper plate, and our sulfur, and we just need the rod itself. And it gives us the same amount. Let's see, 20 oil, 1 cosmic, 5 and 5. So you know, our numbers change a little bit. It is more efficient, so we are doing it that way because that's one less item we have to ship up. So we got it over here and we are making it. And since we are making it right here, we went ahead and we put our thermal radiator here so that this is now making the minus 25 or whatever it is fluid, minus 10C fluid. So we might as well start making it. And I could put in another couple of these and make it faster, but right now we're okay. Now, one thing that you might see on here, if you know, if you're quick on the uptake, is these little babies. We added another mod to our game, and what we added is a mod called flow control. So if we go here to our items, right here, what flow control does is it adds some valves and it adds some pipes. Now the pipes are bullshit. they're a holdover from when we didn't used to have these pipes in the vanilla game. One of them is a straight pipe, one of them is a T-junction, and one of them is an elbow pipe. It really doesn't matter because these do the same thing nowadays. So these are bullshit. They're not necessary. I don't care about them. But the next three items are huge game changers for us. This, they call it a non-return valve. Basically, it's a check valve. It's a one-direction valve. Stuff goes in one way and it can't go the other way. Next one is an overflow valve. It allows flow when input is over 80%. So if you've got a tank and you're trying to maintain a level on the tank, but you don't want to stop your process when it hits 25K. Let's say you want to have as much in it as you can, but you don't want to stop the process. Well, you can put an overflow valve in, and when that thing hits 80%, which is what, about 20K, 22K in most cases, that valve will allow that overflow to flow someplace else, like say to a holding tank or whatever. So you can control what's in your set of pipes so that it always has stuff, but it's not blocking the system up. You can have an overflow tank. The next valve is a top-up valve, and it does the same thing, the opposite same thing. In other words, suppose you want to make something, and this is the one I'm using a lot of right now, is these top-up valves. And I'll give you the example here. I'm trying to fill these tanks up with this fluid. That's why I'm making it. But here's the thing. When we start this system, there is the return loop for this stuff. We're going to use the coolant. We're going to use the minus 10 degree coolant. That's going to turn it back into coolant, and then we have to cool it again, and this, that, and the other, and it's a round and round process. If this tank is completely full, when I cool this, when I use this, there's no place for it to go because this is completely full. So I can't put it back into the system and the works will stop up. Because I'm making it here, it would fill this tank up eventually. But what I now did, and this is something in the past, in the vanilla game, everybody does it with pumps. They put a pump in here and they red wire the pump in and they measure the tank and they turn the pump on and off with logic. With this valve, what I can say is as long as this tank is less than 80% full, this will let it flow in there. As soon as this is 80% full, this will stop, so I can't make any more. Same thing with this. So then, any of my return stuff from my production, I can go to the other side of that valve and let it into the tank. And this is not going to fill that tank up. So that's a huge game changer when it comes to trying to get all these loop circuits, all these feedback loops in production figured out. So the name of the mod is Flow Control. And if you're going to be doing a whole lot of the piping stuff and what have you, I recommend it. I completely forgot that the mod was out there. I've used it in the past, and I've used it to control my refineries and stuff. And if you use it properly, it's a great mod. So I recommend it. Check it out. I think you'll like it. I know I do. So anyway, so I figured we'd get started on making that stuff. So we've got that going. Next thing we've got going is I've been playing around with landing pad and warehouse configurations because I want to be able to land my rockets, fill my warehouses up, and then have those feed all my processes and have it all bot based so I don't have to belt a whole lot of stuff. Now the bots will wear out, so we're going to have to replenish the bots, so we're going to have to ship bots up, we're going to have a reserve and this, that, and the other. That's fine. I can deal with that. we can send X amount per rocket up, and then we can have a warehouse full of backup replacement bots. That's not a problem. What I'm trying to figure out is which is a better configuration, and this one's got an extra because we sent up too much aeroframes. We can have everything go in with filter inserters, and I just got to make sure that the right ones are on the right pads, and when I ship the stuff, I ship it to the right pad. We can have these filter inserters go directly into the warehouses, but here's the thing. Because of the size of these and the size of this, these are not half as wide as this. They're 1.5 as wide. So I end up with using 5 inserters and 4 inserters and a space. They don't fit evenly. So when you fit this, they've all got to be offset by one little tick mark, which means that by the time you get this done, there is no space between them. See how they're overlapped here in the corner. So I'm not able to take out like a belt. Like for instance, I send a rocket up. I have all the rocket parts. Well, I don't want them filling up these warehouses. I want them to be able to go into something all on their own, and I can't do that with this configuration. I'd like to be able to bring out a belt, or the other option is to bring out all belts and then put it into warehouses. But I kind of like this idea of having them centrally located around a landing pad, and then you just go in, and then that's that, you know, and we're done with it. So here's the other thing that I came up with, and I'm torn on this one, and I'll tell you why I'm torn on it. Why are you torn on it, Bob? Well, here's the thing. In order to do this and to get them to space evenly to where that's using 4, that's using 4, that's using 4, that's using 4, and that 5th one is left over, we can belt it out to whatever we want to belt it out to, right? So we can have our rocket parts going out. The problem with that is, in order to do that, these are actually 2 spaces away from the landing pad. They're not 1 space away from the landing pad. Now, normally you cannot do that with a filter inserter. They have a reach of 1. And not 3 videos ago or whatever it was, when I first mentioned this and the inserter configuration stuff, I said I'm not going to be cheaty about these inserters. The only ones that I'm really going to change is the long-handed inserters, and change the distance on the long-handed inserters because of this, that, and the other. But here's the problem. There are no long-handed filter inserters in the game. There's long-handed inserters and there's filter inserters, but there's not long-handed filter inserters. But there is stack filter inserters and stack inserters. So if we can filter a stack inserter, why can't we filter a long-handed inserter? I think that's something they need to add to the game. That's my personal opinion. I don't know if they would do it or not. Just add one more inserter, have it be a filtered stack inserter, because these filtered inserters are like fast inserters. They're the same speed as the fast inserters, pretty much. 864 degrees a second, 864 degrees a second, 302 degrees a second. So they're really only they're as fast, right? These are all as fast as this. So there's no difference between these, with the exception of these. These are take more stack, and this one filters. But then we've got a combination of this one and this one. Why can't we have a combination of this one and this one? We don't. It needs to be in the game. It ought to be in the game. That's my opinion, and I'm going to go with my soapbox on that. But here's the thing. I can do that with this mod. I can make these fit longer. And I said I was not going to cheat, as it were, with regards to the reach on these, but I don't think it's fair that we don't have a filtered long-handed inserter. So I'm tempted, and I haven't decided, but I am tempted to use this mod and do this configuration. I like it. It seems to work a lot better than this configuration does. It fits in better. It just makes sense to me. So we're leaning in that direction. But I gotta sleep on it. I came up with this configuration today. I gotta sleep on it. We'll see. That being said, this is my debate. But we're getting there on getting this done. I mean, that's you know, we've got 2 landing pads for materials, 2 landing pads for fluids, and we got a rocket pad for taking it off and going back down. And we are filling up our tank farm. And we got a new mod, and it's a good mod. It's a useful mod. So there you go. So that's what we got going. That's where we stand. Like I say, I'm gonna have to ship some more fluid up, because as this goes along, it's going to be using up our cosmic fluid. It takes cosmic fluid to produce this stuff. What have you? I don't know how our cosmic fluid's doing. 22. So we're gonna have to be making some more cosmic fluid. Cosmic fluid is water and lube. So you know, we're gonna have to send some of that up. So anyway, there we go. That's where we got going. That being said, if you guys remember, this was our original setup up here in space. We had a landing pad, came in, it sorted our barrels. Our barrels got uncanned, went into tanks, just like we're doing now, only instead of barrels we're using containers. And then it came out. This was our cosmic fluid, if memory serves me right. Yeah, this was the water and the lube that went in, made the cosmic fluid. Here was our cosmic fluid. This cosmic fluid came out, went over here. This made our gel. Our gel went over to make our science. It also went over here to make our cards that we also needed to make our science. This was our cooling to make our cooling fluid, cool our cooling fluid down to -10, put into this system to make our cards, which all went over here. So this was the big loop, all to get 1 can of science, or get the science cans down to here. So that was our original setup. Well, we've gotten rid of this. We've gotten rid of this because those are already on planet, are on the orbit. We've gotten rid of this. That's already on orbit. We've gotten rid of this. That's already on orbit. So basically, this whole section here is done. That leaves us the lab itself and the science maker for the lab, and then the cards. Oh, and technically this is done. So just the cards to go into the science, and then the science itself is where we stand now. So this is what it boils down to. Oops, wrong one. This is our science maker. It's like our money maker, right? So we need to set this up. Now, one of the things that it's going to use cosmic fluid, right? And this is our input for a cosmic fluid. In return, it gives us contaminated cosmic fluid, which we have to then get rid of. And we do that here. It gives us back cosmic fluid. It gives us contaminated sludge, which we're going to have to process at some point, and contaminated scrap, which we're going to have to process at some point. Everything, and then regular scrap and regular scrap here. So this is basically to make our cards for our science, to get us back up into what we were doing before. So let's grab that blueprint and let's stick it in the system. And I'm thinking we stick it up here for now. And we're just going to let the bots build it. With one exception. I have all of these in my possession right now. Both of them. So, there we go. Now, the other thing we are going to want right? Yeah, this is all the BIOS. Okay. So eventually we're going to want to do all this hypercooling stuff, blah blah blah. Alright, so that is going to make that. Now, we are all set up for it. But, what does this... This is going to give us our scrap, right? And this is going to give us scrap. This is going to give us that card. Everything else is it goes into, right? Oh, no. That's going to give us the weird BIOS scrap, right? It's going to give us contaminated scrap and contaminated biosludge. Here's our tank for our biosludge. Here's our contaminated scrap. This is our roundy. This is our contaminated cosmic water that we're going to wait for it to process. It goes back into here, so we got that loop, right? Now, what do we need to make this? We need rough data storage substrate, right? Well, we can do this now. We can get rid of that. We can do that. And we can ask for... Where is it? 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 Rough data substrate. We can ask for that now, right? And have it just bring it. And it is up there in our warehouse. Okay. Now this isn't hooked up for the cosmic water yet, so this isn't running yet. So then this requires... What was this supposed to be? I don't know why that didn't... add that. So then this requires red circuits, copper plates, and our polished that's coming out of here. So we need red circuits and copper plates. So red circuits, copper plates, both of which we have coming from up there. All right, and then this required green circuits along with that. So we put in another one, and we tell this one green circuits, and we are back in business for making these cards. The only thing at this point that we have to hook up is we have to hook up some cosmic water to it, just to keep this flowing and keep that roundy. Now again, we don't want to overflow that tank, right? We want to use it, but we don't want to overfill it. And since this is going to process it and bring it back, what we're going to do is we're going to come up here, and we're going to bring it into our system. But since we don't want it backflowing and overfilling our system, right? We're going to do this. That will prevent this from washing back into this and overfilling that tank because it's a one-way valve. Now, see the arrow? It's the same thing with these ones. These ones have an arrow on them, and these ones have an arrow on them. That's the direction of flow. So, this is only going to flow this way. It won't let it flow back into our system. This is going to roundy and make our cards, make our polished data cards. It's going to make our junk. And then that's going to go into here. That should be polished data, right? And then that's going to make those. And then that's going to be that. And the reason it's stopped right now is because this needs cold thermal fluid. And we got to come in and go out with the cold thermal fluid. I'm wondering if we're going to do it this way. It doesn't really, I guess it doesn't really matter which direction we flow it, but we are going to have it come up. I guess we don't really need that. We can do this. Alright, so that's going in, right? And that's going to create this other thermal fluid that's got to come out and be processed. And again, we want this to flow one way into our system. Now the other place that this mod is really a lifesaver with, if anybody is playing what the hell is that mod? C-Block. C-Block, it is, let's not take the chance of that accidentally hooking up to that. C-Block requires a whole lot of feedback loops and stuff as well. Again, this is nice for C-Block because it lets you control what goes where. Now the reason I did this is so that it doesn't come back over here and stop this up by not being able to flow out of this. Now, what may end up happening at some point, because we're injecting this before the 80%, we probably ought to, if we want to be able to inject it into the system, we probably want to come past the 80% and hook it in on this side, because this won't be the 80%. Matter of fact, let's change this a little bit. I don't want to hook to that inadvertently though, and I don't think I did. I think we're okay. So if we come over here, put our flow control valve. It can still only go this way, but it'll go after the 80%, so it will allow it, if we put it before this, when that gets 80%, it'll stop anything going in and it's going to stop this. By doing this, it's after that 80%, it'll let us get all the way up to the top of that tank. And then that should be Yup, and then that's producing, and then boom, and that's producing, and there are our machine learning data cards. That's going to give us our crap, our machine learning data cards, and that's going to give us part of our science, part of our what we needed for our science. So we're getting back to our science. Now we want to keep, we decided we want to keep this row and this row empty. So we can't put it here. Let's put it alright, let's put it, I don't want to go too far away from my pipes if I don't have to. Wait a minute. Let's do this. Let's land. Alright. Science. This science is produced in space manufacturing. It needs empty barrels, which are an object. It needs solid rocket fuel, which is an object. Space scaffolding, solar panels, vulcanite blocks, machine learning data. The only liquid it needs is chemical gel. Where's our chemical gel? Our chemical gel is up here. So we're going to keep this one blank. There's where we're making our chemical gel. Let's put this puppy right here. This is going to make this. Okay. And we can potentially, because there's no, the only byproduct is the busted ass data card. So if we do this, right? That's fat, dumb, and happy. Then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? And I'm doing it this way so that we can regulate these. And they're all singles. So yellow inserters ought to be fine. So we want barrels. We want solid fuel. So we want barrels. We want solid fuel. Oops. We want scaffolding parts. There. I thought they were there. They're not. Scaffolding, scaffolding, scaffolding. Where is our scaffolding? Scaffolding, that's why. It's too far down. I didn't see it. We want solar panels. So these are things we're going to have to start looking at. Do we have them here? Are we going to have to ship them in, etc., etc.? So we want vulcanite block. And we want the data cards. Right? Data cards. If we get all of that in, that's going to give us our space science. Oops. We actually want to do that and that. Because this, we're going to whitelist our space science. This, we're going to whitelist our junk data card. Right? And then junk data cards, if memory serves me right, yeah, we can put them back into the system in another supercomputer. And it's going to give us a blank data card, and it's going to give us a servo fluid. But we need this minus 100 degrees C fluid, which I believe we can make. It's just, oh, it's fluid. Never mind, dumbass. It's made in not uses. We don't want uses. We want craft. Yeah, it's made in a hypercooling factory. So we gotta, and I think we have a hypercooling factory up here, if memory serves me right. I think we made one. I think we have one in our inventory. But the bottom line is, that's going to start to give us our stuff, but we need rocket fuel. So we need to go up here because we're making rocket fuel. Making it right there. We need a provider chest. And we need a provider chest, not a requester chest. And that's going to make our rocket fuel. And that's going to come up, take our rocket fuel, take it down there. And now we're back to making our science. Right? Down here. That's going to bring our rocket fuel down. And now we're making our science. Ta-da! Now we're making our science. We're back in the science business. But we're going to have to bring up a bunch of steel. Because we're not going to ship the barrels up here. We're going to do one of two things. If we ship barrels up here, it's going to have fluid in it. If we ship steel up here, we can ship more steel than we can barrels, I think is the way it works. We'll have to look at the ratio and make barrels on site. We'll see. But we also are going to have to ship up a crap ton of solar panels, guys. Until such a time as we have a better recipe for making this scrap. Because that's a lot. Solar panels, we don't want to have to be making solar panels up here. We're making them already. We just have to ship them up. But, there we go. We are back in the business of making our initial science. And between that and a little bit of science we have, because we have some science up here. Where is it? Oh, it's up here in our science warehouse. So we got all of the basic sciences. We only have 8 of these though. We can't really do squat with 8. I mean, we can do a little bit, but we need at least 10 for this. Right? So maybe we'll launch 2 more rockets, and then that will get us that science. But we're back in the science biz, guys. This is set back up. The next thing we're going to do, and let's see what we need to do it. Do. Alright, we need to make that in a space manufacturing plant. We're out of space manufacturing plants. What do we need to make a space manufacturing plant? We need to make them, we're going to make them in a space manufacturing, or we can make them in an assembly plant. Why don't we make ourselves some more space manufacturing plants? So we need cosmic water. So let's go down here, just close to our cosmic water, and steal ourselves a spot right there to make space manufacturing plant. And then it needs, whoa, 32, whoa, holy crapski. Alright. We'll see how many that'll get us, because we're going to need more, need as many as we can get anyway, so we might as well make as many as we can get. And we use them, you know what I mean? We'll always use them. So that's 2. 3. Alright, so there's 3. So now, those are going to get us these mirrors. And these mirrors is what we need for our telescopes. So we need chemical gel and lubricant. Right? So chemical gel and lubricant. So let's say we plop this fucker down right here in this cell. And that's nice because they all work out to being in cells. And we're going to tell it, and we can't use this one yet because we don't have iridium plate because we haven't gone to that planet yet. So we're stuck using all this extra stuff. And that's life. So we rotate that around so we can connect to it. So there's our gel. Where is our lubricant? Our lubricant's coming over from here. So we can tap off of this. I mean, we could tap off it down there, but this is convenient because it's here. Alright, there's our lubricant, right? So now we need a goes out of chest. We're going to limit that. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4 goes into chests. And we need to wait for it to save. One, 2, 3, 4 goes into chests. We're just going to use yellows. Heat shields. Low densities. Glass. And steel plate. Right? Okay, now we just need to wait for it. I don't know how much these stack to. Okay, they're all on the way. So like I said, I don't know how high these stack. Or how many of them we're going to need. I don't want to make too many, which is why I'm just going to do the one slot. We're going to see how much they stack. Oh. Okay, well, we need to do this, I guess. I wasn't paying attention. So that gives us scrap, and we're going to tell this, where is scrap? And we're going to tell this spectral mirrors. That we're going to limit. That we're not going to limit. So that's 5, 6. It's either 10 or 20, I bet. Well, it ain't 10. It ain't 20. Maybe it's 50. But that's okay because these are needed for these. So we're going to want mass quantities of them anyway, because we're going to want to get rid of all of this big solar panel farm over here at some point. So I bet if it's not 20, then it's either 50 or 100. I can't see it stacking more than that, but we'll see. But anyway, that gives us what we need to make these suckers. And they are all made in a space factory. But they don't need anything other than the space factory. So let's let's take a pile, because we're going to make one of these, and we're going to want low density structures, assembly machines we got, glass we're going to need. Alright, logistics, we want some glass. Bring us some glass. And bring us some low density structures. These are going to need airframes. So let's bring us some airframe poles too. And these are going to need heat shielding we got. Okay. So this is going to need 2 of these. One of these. $40 and $40. That gives us that. So then we're going to want to make one of these. And that's going to require 6 of these. And then 120 aeroframes and 80 low densities, huh? Okay, well. A bunch more glass. There's the glass. Airframes and low densities. Come on. Come on, 4 more. There we go. Thank you. And then we're gonna make one of these. And that takes how many? 6. $60 and $60. Come on. 6 more of those. There we go. I need 10 more of those. There we go. All right. So now, let's see what these things look like. Whoa, that one's good size. So I don't know what these take. We'll have to play with them. We're going to sit them down here for a second. And where's our other one? There it is. Oh, and those other dishes, yeah, they look like the logistics network things. So, okay, so we're going to have thermofluid going into this and these blank observation frames to make these. But it looks like we can make all 3 of these frames. This one we're going to have multispectral mirrors and really cold thermofluid. And then this one, really cold thermofluid and blank observation frames. All right, so there we go. We will, on the next episode, I guess, we'll start making blank observation frames. I know they need coal. I think they need some other things, but I know... Yeah, coal, glass, steel plate, and light oil. Or beryllium, glass, coal, and light oil. And I think we're going to go with the beryllium. I think we figured out the beryllium is, you get 10 of them. This way you get 5 of them. We're going to make them with this. And we're going to get 10 of them a piece. And that's going to start us down the path of using these guys. We're still going to have to make thermofluid. I don't can we make the coldest ones? Hypercooler, hypercooler, thermal radiator, and I'm pretty sure yeah, we got, that's another thing we got to do is we got to put, now that we're back up here, we got to put guns up here. Totally forgot about that. We got to get our guns installed up here, so we got to send guns up. Alright. So... oh yeah, and this was the other thing I was talking about. This... and... this. It looks like they hook into a logistic network. And you can have them send signals to and fro. Outputs any circuit signal being broadcast on a selected channel by the signal receivers. So, like, if I wanted to be able to say have a rocket come up automatically when this ran out, I could set up a condition, and then I could send it to the planet with these, and it would tell it to launch. I think is what the deal there is. What were we after? These hypercoolers. So we have one. And they're not hard to make. We got to make them up here though. There was something else that had to be made in those stupid supercomputers. And we have another one of those supercomputers right here. There's a bunch of stuff to be made on them. All of this stuff. We're making this. Now it's going to be time to start making all of this stuff. So we're going to need some more of those. So we're starting to get into some of that stuff, guys. We're gonna launch. Matter of fact, we're gonna launch one of them right now. We're gonna launch that puppy. That should give us. It better give us one blue science. Because we launched two of them. That'll give us two blue sciences. Right? Okay, we got it. Didn't find anything. I don't care. We got what we wanted. We'll launch another one of these. We'll get the two blue sciences. We'll get them on this rocket. This rocket's got to come up with fluid anyway. It's not got enough on it yet, but we're getting there. We'll have to see what we need for fluid. But we're going to get those two blue sciences up here. And that's going to allow us to do this astronomic catalog too. And we're going to start working on moon and asteroid belts using telescopes. Big deal. Zone recovery 1. I guess we'll see what that all does. 211. Don't care about that. 500 of these. 500 of these. And then we get into the next level of those. So we're going to be able to do this. And then that's going to give us 100 of them will give us our science pack 2s. And that's where we can start getting into the aeroframe stuff and all of that. Which, I mean, it's getting more complex, guys. We're going to start making some stuff, man. But there we go. We are back in the science biz, guys. Matter of fact, let us. It really doesn't matter where we put this, I guess. Closer would be better. less trips for the bots. We're just gonna plop it down right there for now. Fuck it. And we're gonna say red, green, black, yellow, purple, right? Red science, oops, red science. We're gonna do 100. Oh, no, we're gonna do 10 is all we need. We're gonna do green science 10. Oh hell, we could do it all right in here. Black 10, blue 10. Why waste the boxes? Purple, yellow, white, where's blue? There's blue. There we go. And just let it, put them all in there, and then we will tell it to start that. And once it has all of them, we can get a head start on it. And then when we get the other two, we can send them up, put them in there. Boom, we're done with we're done in the science department. Oh, the disco ball's going, right? Alright, so there we go, guys. That's that. I will I'll talk to you later. Bye.